Hello, everyone, and welcome to Birdview's weekly workshop. This is the very first workshop of the Resource Management Month here at Birdview, and I'm excited to have you all join today. Our weekly workshops take place every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific. So we cover a different topic each week. You can register for our weekly workshops through our website under the events tab, or you can simply click on the link that's displayed on the screen right now. I encourage you all to join as many of these workshops as possible so that you can learn tips and tricks on how to make the most of Birdview for your work. With each session, we do start with a demo on the topic, and then we leave the last 10 minutes so that we can go over any questions or any comments that anyone has. Please feel free to send in your questions in the chat or simply raise your hand virtually, and we will get to them once we are done with the demo part of the session. Our topic for today is resource management, the basics part one. So we'll start with how to add users within the system and how to set up their individual schedules. We'll then learn how to create job roles and access levels and why they are important. And we will also learn how to assign team members to projects and activities, as well as how to set specific to set project specific permissions within the system. You'll also learn how to assign based on their availability in order to avoid overtime or underscheduling of your team members. And finally, we'll go over a few tips and tricks on how to make sure that you are using the system accurately and to also avoid mistakes and errors when you are leveraging the resource management module. So to start off with, we're going to learn how to add users to the system. Now, admins within the system will have the permission to add users. So if you do not have the permission to add users, you probably won't be able to see the users tab within the system or add users to the system as well. But if you do have the permission, right up here under company settings, you have a users tab that you see right here. So I do have a few of my team members that have been added to my account right here. If I click on any one of them, you will see more information about that user, the name, the email, the access level, as well as a few more options that we have in here. In order for you to create a new user, you simply click on the add user option right here. You can go ahead and fill in the email, the name, as well as the access level and the job role. In a couple of minutes, we will learn how to create these from scratch. But if you did want to assign someone right from the get-go when they sign into the system, you can add an access level as well as a job role that you have created in the system. You can also add a password for them if you require and send them an email invite so that they can automatically jump into the system once they are created as a user. So it takes anywhere, I would say, less than a minute in most cases to be able to create a user. You also have a collaborator and a guest option for you to define the type of user that you are adding as well. Now, when you add your users, especially for resource management, you do want to also assign them a specific schedule within the system. This is to make sure that you are taking their working hours into consideration and avoiding assigning them more hours than they have available within any given period. So let's say Brenda Valence, if I scroll down to the bottom of her account here, I can see a personal schedule for Brenda, and I can edit this if I have the permission to do so. So as of now, Brenda's working Monday to Friday, 8 hours a day. But if I wanted to change that, and maybe Brenda's working 8 hours on a Saturday and she's taking a Friday as her regular day off, we can make changes to that if required. And the system's going to also take that into consideration when it's showing you Brenda's availability. So we do have a number of different clients that might even work 4 days a week or 3 days a week and work a higher number of hours than 8 in a day. It can be accommodated within this system. All right, so now that we know how to create users and edit their availability, You can go ahead and add job roles and access levels as mentioned. So I'm just going to jump to the job roles tab. Now, the purpose of a job role is for you to define what role that person has within the company and within the system. So you could have project leads, project managers, portfolio managers. And if I click on, let's say, the project manager right here, I'm going to be able to add a few skills for that project manager as well. And I can also add a default billing hourly rate. So if we don't have any other selections within the system and someone is tracking time in order to calculate the labor cost and the billing for the client, it's going to consider the default billing hourly rate. So these can be set up in the system. You can have as many job roles as you like within the system, but the recommendation is to make sure that you have job roles only that those that are required within the system. To add a new job role, you simply click on this plus sign up here and fill in the information, and your job role will be created. Access levels, on the other hand, are more permission specific. So it's allowing you to give access to certain areas of the system to your team members. So, for example, someone could be a project manager in the system, but their access level might indicate that they have less access to certain things within the system. So if I click on a portfolio manager, for example, you have permissions at different levels within the system. You have global permissions, which are permissions that are basically applicable to the entire system overall. So you can add new projects, you can invite users, you can create custom forms, you can access reporting. Those would be considered global permissions. But you also have the ability to differentiate for project specific permissions as well as for um, uh, portfolio level permissions. So you can make changes here. Let's say you don't want this person to be able to add their own time entries or add new activities within projects or edit or delete projects for that matter. You can actually toggle these on and off. It's as easy as just clicking on them. At a portfolio level, you can define what access they have right here. So these are preset access levels, wherein if I click on a portfolio participant, they are able to view portfolios, they are able to do, and that is all. They aren't able to do much else when they're a portfolio participant. But on the other hand, if they are a portfolio editor, they are able to edit portfolios, they're able to view all activities and edit all activities. Same with time entries and expenses. So you can actually define what permissions you want to have at a portfolio level for each access level. You can make your changes, hit save, and those changes will automatically be reflected. Now, access levels also can be created simply by clicking on this plus sign right here. You give your access level a name. You can also have a description, and you can also add a default activity center view, which means that when someone with this access level signs into the system, they're going to have a specific view that they're going to have as their default view. So in this case, my options here within my account are portfolio marketing portfolio. However, you can add several views and select a default view um, within the activity center as well. All right, so now that we've covered how to create users, add job roles, and access levels, let's learn how to go ahead and assign team members to projects within the activity center. Now, these are my projects in the system. I'm just going to pick project DEF as one of the existing projects that I have. And when I expand, I can see a few tasks and subtasks as well. Now, if I would like to assign team members, I can do it at a project level as well as an activity level. I can do it from the assignees tab right here. So if I click on the assignees tab right here, it's going to give me my options and I can go ahead and add my team members. or I can click on details within a project or a task, and I will be taken to a page to add my team members. So let's take the execution AB task as an example. When I click on details, I have the ability to add my assignees by simply clicking on this plus sign right here. Now we have estimated 10 hours for this task already. I'm going to change that to 50, just so that I have additional hours to assign to my team. When I click on this plus sign, I have the ability to add an entire team of users. I can pick from the list of project members. In this case, so far, I'm the only one that's assigned to this project. But I can also pick non-project members. So let's say I pick myself and I pick Brenda, and I now have 2 team members that have been assigned to this task. However, I can go a step further and also assign them the estimated hours up here. So if I click on this plus sign again, there is an option to schedule these hours in for my team members. So I click on the schedule option. And right here, I can see that my team members have been added. I can see their job role within the system. Brenda is a portfolio manager and I am a project manager. And we have work status. And if I click on this, the 2 options here are in progress and I'm done. In this specific case, I'm just adding my team members, so I don't have to change this. But when my team members work on their tasks, they can go ahead and even mark their tasks as complete, in which case the work status will be changed to I'm done. You also have these 4 columns here with hours within them. So estimated hours will be the hours that we are estimating or planning for this task. In this case, we have 25 hours each for these team members, as the total estimated hours is 50. We also have the hours left, and that's going to change as and when these team members log their time. So when they track time, it's automatically going to minus from the hours left and indicate the new numbers. And obviously, actual hours is also going to change when time is logged. This last column here on the right is actually your hours available. So basically, this is letting you know how many hours your team members have available for them to be assigned to a specific task or a project. So in this case, I can see that I'm available for 32 hours and 32.23 hours, and Brenda is available for 39.2 hours. This is taking into consideration all of their availability based on other projects as well. So if I were to, let's say, assign myself 35 hours and assign Brenda 15 hours, that makes a total of 50 again. I am assigning myself more hours than I have available. And so it is going to appear red, so that it's indicating to me that I am giving myself overtime. And I need to either change that, or it is a visual, it's not a, it doesn't hamper you from assigning team members more work than the time they have available, but it will give you a visual alert to make sure that you change it, or that you are aware that you are assigning someone more hours than they have available in the system. All right, so this is how you can go ahead and schedule your hours to your team members. You also can add more assignees from right here as well. So if I wanted to add Wesley Dawson, I can go ahead and do that as well. And it's going to add those hours for Crisley as well. All right, so now that we've gone through how you would go ahead and add your team members to the system, there are a few points that I would like to let you know of, so that you don't run into any errors or any issues when it comes to managing your team members within the system. So one of the important things is to always look at the availability of the team member, like we just discussed. So within this project itself, when we jump to execution AB, and I jump to the scheduling of hours, it's important to make sure that I'm taking this into consideration in order to avoid those errors. The other thing that you do need to keep in mind is the recalculating of hours shared among assignees. So what does this mean? When I toggle this on, it means that it's going to take these existing hours and spread them evenly across the team members that I add to this project. So I'm just going to jump out of this. If we were to schedule hours, let's say I turn this off and I add my team members, I add myself. I'm the only team member on here. So it's taking all the estimated hours and assigning it to me. Since I have this toggled off, if I assign Brenda to this task as well, it's not going to assign her any hours or evenly spread those hours automatically. I can go in and make changes to that if I need to. So I can give Brenda 10 hours, I can give myself 40 hours to indicate 50. However, if I have this turned on, so let's do that again. If I have this turned on and I add myself, it'll start off with giving me 50 hours. And if I add Brenda, it's going to evenly calculate those hours and assign them accordingly. So it's important to keep in mind that if you do need to evenly spread, you can do it automatically by simply toggling this on right here. The other thing to keep in mind is that your available hours is taking into consideration not just your availability within other projects. So it's, let's say I have 32 hours available as of now. It's not only considering minusing any hours that I've spent on or that I have estimated for other projects, but it's also taking into consideration any vacation time that's in the system, any public holidays that are in the system as well. So you don't have to worry about calculating public holidays or that you may have missed out on a public holiday or vacation time that I have added to the system. When vacation time is added or a public holiday is added, this is automatically going to update with the actual availability. All right. And the last thing that I would like to share with you when it comes to resource management is that you can also change the access level of your team members at the project level as well. So if I click on details right here, I can see that Brenda is a portfolio manager and I am a project manager within the system. However, for this specific project, if I click on this little gear icon right here, it says that I can edit the access level and permissions. So I can click on that. I can change the access level for this specific project. And I can also toggle on and off these permissions right here and hit save, which means that although Brenda has portfolio manager as her overall access level, when it comes to this project, there are different permissions that are in place. All right, so that's what we have in terms of the demo part of the session. If you do have any specific questions, I'm going to keep my demo page, my demo account open. Please feel free right now to go ahead and raise your hand or send in any questions. I have a question from Bob. Bob, you are asking, where do you find your account name? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? So if you want to know your name within the account.
Oh, it's actually, sorry, Denise, it's probably the instance name.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob, you could just message us that information. But for the benefit of everyone in the group, there was a question there regarding job roles. The job roles will be released in phases. You will see some communication coming out from our marketing team in the days and weeks ahead. So we're not rolling it out to everyone. We are going to be enabling this on your specific accounts in a phased approach. So look for those little pop-up alerts that are going to appear And we're going to start to roll this out, I believe, this Friday.
Also, we did do a webinar last week on job roles and access levels. That is on our website. You will be able to view the recording of that as well. It's very informative and will give you a lot of information about these new features that we've added to the system. I have a question from Kimberly Thorpe. So your question is, what if I want a staff member's hours to not be spread out evenly across the time of the project? For example, if all 25 hours of the task will happen in the first week of the total project. So that is a topic, Kimberly, that we will be looking at on the 16th of the month. I can quickly tell you right now that it is something that you can do within the resources tab that's right here. You do have the option to make manual adjustments to that so that it is not cutting across the entire project at any given time. What I would like you to do is, first of all, please join us on the 16th to go over that topic, but you can also send over an email to our success email address. I will share it with you in a few minutes, and we can maybe set up a call to go over that specifically for your team if you have questions that are specific to your account on that. We have a question from Bob. Will you be showing how to add holidays in another session? Yes, we will be doing that as well in the next session, which is next week on Tuesday. So yes, please feel free to join that one as well. So I hope this session was helpful. Your suggestions are always welcome. So if you have any recommendations for topics that you would like to cover in the future, or any questions on this session, please feel free to send in your questions to us. You can also sign up for the remainder of the workshops through this link or on our website. And on the screen right now, you will see the email that you can send your responses to. We are extremely responsive, so we will get back to you immediately, and we can set up calls to discuss specific questions. Or again, as I mentioned, please send in your feedback or recommendations for topics in the future. Walter, I do see your question there. How can we record the actual hours and then compare them with the planned ones? This will help us in future planning or similar projects. So there are a few reports that we can create within your account. In fact, we do have some already that are pre-built. In addition to that, the resource management session that we will have on the 16th will give you some more information where you can see this information without creating a report as well. So please do join us for that. All right, thanks everyone. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.